Welcome back, adventurers, once again to Let's Play Steins Zero. In the last episode, Maho Hiato was racked by internal guilt at revealing the truth about what happened to Rintaro Okabe to Mayuri Shina, who then went in search of Suzuha at the radio building. Unfortunately, shortly afterwards, the forces of Stratfor destroyed the time machine on the roof of the radio building, plunging Akihabara into a state of absolute chaos. And the only one that Maho can count on in this time of conflict is Amadeus Kurusu. Unfortunately, Leskinen and Stratfor have been monitoring Amadeus Kurusu's activities, even though her internal security is state of the art. But now, Maho has no one else to turn to, so, moment of truth. Indeed. Should never have doubted you, Amadeus Kurusu. The only one we can trust. So in other words, we might be able to use this to our advantage, it seems. That's unfortunately true, but at least Amadeus Kurusu isn't entirely on their side. She can't help that they're monitoring. Those are pretty bad odds. And yet Amadeus Kurusu is perfectly willing to help us out, regardless. That and the last vestiges of Kurusu Makase's memories, so essentially a remnant of Kurusu Makase. If I'm being truthfully honest, Amadeus Kurusu bowed and smiled. So Amadeus Kurusu has chosen to make the ultimate sacrifice, it seems. But will it be enough? Probably. If Amadeus is deleted, then Amadeus Kurusu will be no more. And Maho is getting emotional once again. Amadeus Kurusu just smiles. But that's who Kurusu Makase was. When Maho had asked her for help, both she and Amadeus Kurusu should have been prepared. That's why. Until that day, Maho Hiato will forever be chasing the shadow of Kurusu
そ
Makase.
れどころか追い越してやるから。それまで待ってなさい。はい。
Seems that Amadeus Kurusu is looking forward to that. Disconnected. Amadeus Kurusu smiled once more and disappeared from the screen. Maho wiped away her tears and thwapped the crying girl next to her on the helmet. As to get her attention.
いつまで泣いているの？あなたはまゆりさんを助けたいんでしょ？だったら私に協力して。協力？まず岡部さんを助けるわ。彼なら今の事態を何とかする方法を提示してくれるはず。知ってるの？ストラト4のアジトどこにあるのか。
Kaguri has a good point. Unfortunately, we don't have the time machine to bail us out this time. And on top of that, we don't even know how far Leskinen has gone in his torture of Rintaro.
私だって知らないわ。
He may already be a nervous, broken wreck. But Maho grabbed the girl by the hand and helped her up, then raced down the stairs.
知らないけど、すぐに私の可愛い後輩が調べて教えてくれる。
If indeed the answer exists. She told me to believe in her. Kurusu Makase wouldn't betray me. Apparently we've got a message. And the gunfire is still continuing in the streets of Akihabara. As soon as she left the radio building, she got a message on her Rhine. The gunfire was continuing. As she hurried away, she looked down at her phone. War has come to Akihabara. Okabe is in the basement of Tokyo Denke. That's where they're keeping him? I just learned of this now. I followed them, monitoring to find their location. Take care of Okabe for me. Teach that damn pervert of a professor what happens to peeping toms who watch me all the time. Yeah, you've got Kurusu's memories alright, Amadeus Kurusu. When she read it, she smiled despite everything that was going on.
ありがとう、クリス。
Well, at least we know where Rintaro is being held captive. Even if it costs Amadeus Kurusu her life and very existence. She clutched the phone tightly to her chest. But then she quickly changed gears. No point standing around here waiting to get shot by Stratfor soldiers.
ストラト4のアジトがどこか分かったわ。
And at least we have an ally in Kagurushina, of all people. Hopefully everyone doesn't include Rintaro. But would you also be prepared to kill Leskinen as well? Maho shivered at the ice in her words. She felt a bottomless madness coming from the woman in the motorcycle suit. But for now she had to go up with her. I know, why don't we just say that Leskinen is responsible for Mayuri's situation and see what happens. There was no way she could get Rintaro back from Maho on her own.
行きましょう。
I think that meant to say Leskinen. Because Leskinen's the one holding Rintaro hostage. She needed to take responsibility for the future she'd created, to avoid that cruel future. Maho ran through the streets of Akihabara, where a war was already beginning. To Tokyo Denki we go. Now we're back with Rintaro once more in the bowels of Tokyo Denki. A voice. I could hear a voice. Someone was calling my name. I slowly woke up and turned towards the voice. And it's Maho. Apparently she found Tokyo Denki. Maho was standing in the darkness, or maybe this is a hallucination. She had a smile on her face that was somehow lonely, and somehow sad. Maho's afraid that Leskinen's conditioning will have another effect. Something tells me that this isn't a hallucination. Unfortunately, that's going to be rather difficult without a time machine. So in the place of CERN, Stratfor has taken their place. Missing or killed, we don't know. We can only hope. Indeed, she was one woman against an army, but she did manage to have a few casualties along the way. Kaguri is dead. Of course he would. So they did delete Amadeus Kurisu. It's all falling apart. But there's no other choice. I suppose we have no choice but to make that extremely irrational, irresponsible promise. To reach the world line of Steins Gate. The world line in which none of this happens. Not World War III, not CERN, not Stratfor. None of it. Yajo-san! I woke up on top of blankets laid out on the floor of a hospital. The room rooms and even halls outside were overflowing with wounded people. There weren't enough beds, so there were blankets placed on the floor. Where was I? I thought I was back in the other world line, with the war. But I wasn't. According to the news on TV, there had been a terror attack in Akihabara. A special forces group from another country had gone on a rampage, and it was like something out of a war. The incident had come to an end, and the mystery special forces unit had disappeared, but many were dead and wounded after the battle. I didn't really remember how I got here. The last thing I remembered was being locked up and horribly tortured by Leskinen. My whole body ached, in fact. But what of the others? What of Mayuri? What of Daru? What of Suzuha? What of Ferris? And what of Maho? Seems that Maho has gone to fight her own battles. And upon our shoulders she has placed the hope of averting this disaster. Somehow, we must reach Steins Gate, after all. And then I remembered what Maho had said to me in that dream. Was that real? Maho had saved me? Indeed she did. And had she mentioned Kagari? I patted down my pockets and found my phone was still there. I tried to call Mayuri. If that dream was real, Mayuri was missing. But that was impossible. I'd chosen this world line so that Mayuri would survive. If nothing else, it was guaranteed that she'd make it to 2036. She couldn't die today in 2011. But no matter how many times I called, she didn't pick up. I can only hope that she's alive, forlorn as it may be. I forced myself to stand up and leave the hospital room. And surprisingly, it's a clear blue sky. I went out to the roof. It seems like I was the Ochanomizu hospital where Fubuki had stayed before, judging from the foyer. The morning sky was amazingly clear. I could see Akihabara in the far distance. Pillars of black smoke. There were pillars of smoke rising up. I shivered at the strange sight. Even from here, I could tell how fierce the battle must have been. The world's history was proceeding as John Titor had prophesied. I tried calling Mayuri again from the roof, but nobody picked up. My next move was to call Daru out of desperation. But will he respond?
もしもし、おかりん。よかった、生きてた。
お前こそよく無事だったな。
So Daru is
ラボの近くは
safe and
案外
sound.
静かだったんで。
今どこだ？
逃亡中、秋葉からは脱出したよ。
So Daru managed to get the hell out of Dodge.
そうか。
フェイリスタンとルカシとは連絡取れた。二人とも避難したってさ。
So Ferris and Ruka made it out of town. What of Mayuri Sheena?
鈴葉とマユシが連絡つかないんだ。昨日の事件で タイムマシンも跡形もなく壊されちゃったし、鈴葉の語った未来よりも世界の動きがずっと速いよ。
Too fast. So it wasn't a dream after all. While I was unconscious, she'd said her goodbye.
なあ、誰？俺はさ、普通に生きることすら許されないのかな。こうなることは覚悟してたさ。シュタインズゲートではなく第三次世界大戦が訪れる世界線を選んだのは俺なんだ。
We did.
だからって俺が生き残ってみんないなくなるなんて、こんなのはあんまりだろう。
Were the laws of God never going to forgive me, no matter what? Was it that much of a sin to escape the wheel of fate? If it was, then why not just curse me?
僕は
I think we're cursed enough as it is.
タイムマシン作るよ。
It seems like Daru is planning on finally making the time machine.
作るしかないだろう。
Not
これ
anymore.
で終わりにできるかよ。オカリンはどうする？
The smoke was still rising over Akihabara. I stared at it in shock.
俺は
Well, if you live and Yuki Amane is still alive, then even if Suzuha from 2036 has perished, the Suzuha from 6 years in the future should still be born into the world. The tears welled up. I fell to the ground. I didn't have the strength to stand up. I couldn't answer Daru's question. No matter how hard you try, no matter how much you work to change things, everything converges back to the way God wants it. You're wasting your time struggling against it, Daru. I'm so tired. I need to sleep a little. There's still a few years before the Third World War really begins. And there's 14 years before I die. I'll live my life averting my eyes from reality and not wasting my time with a fight that can't be won. That's the only end fitting for a person like me. I'm sorry, Maho. I'm sorry, Mayuri. And finally, I'm sorry, Kurisu. That hope is dead. Forgive me for giving up here. And that was the bad ending of Steins Gate 0. Gehenna's Stigma. Well, I said that I would reach an ending at some point in this LP, and I have. It was a truly terrifying ending, but we can't let things end here. I hope you enjoyed this Let's Play so far, but be prepared. There's more yet to come. Now that I've reached an ending of sorts, such as it is, I'm going to try and make a stab for the true ending, because we can't let things lie. We will have to face the truth and try and reach the world line known as Steins Gate. But we learned a great many things in the process. We learned about the true nature of the man known as Alexis Leskinen. We learned about the start of the Third World War, the events that would lead to the catastrophe that Suzuha Mane fought so valiantly to protect. Or, no, to prevent, sorry, not protect. She was trying to protect Akihabara from the wrath of World War III. But the adventure is definitely different from the original Steins Gate. The narrative is certainly far more complex, at least as far as the storytelling is concerned. But it's been an interesting Let's Play adventure thus far. But our work has only just begun. We still have a long road ahead of us before we can finally reach that unobserved world line known as Steins Gate. So I hope you've enjoyed the adventure thus far, and I hope you'll stick with me for the episodes of the future, because this is not over. Indeed, this is far from over. This is not the true end of Steins Gate 0. 1.143688 reads the divergence meter. Achievement unlocked. Gehenna stigma completed. Extra was added to the title menu, CG library, and sound library, and movie library, and tips, and new item. Saving system data. What is this new item, by the way? That's all the library and the tips and everything. But I wonder what new item is. That's the tips. We don't need to see that. But the clear list, we have also unlocked an achievement. Those who seek history by seeing the clear list. As you can see, there are 6 endings that we can acquire. We've acquired Gehenna's Stigma, and we've actually been playing for 113 hours. That is a long time to be doing this Let's Play. But there are going to be many more hours ahead, because in addition to 4 other endings that we can acquire, we are going to strive to reach the true ending of Steins Gate 0. And as I said in the end credits, I hope you've enjoyed this Let's Play thus far, because when we return, adventurers, we are going to, well, let's just say that a certain red-haired scientist has, in her mind, a certain device known as a time leap machine. So I'm going to time leap in the next episode when we return back to a certain date and certain time, and see if things can't play out a little differently. As always, adventurers, I am the Dungeon Master. Until next we meet.